What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about this rumored God of War game and, kind of recap the last couple of days. What's going on? What happened? Now, look, I say that. I mean it. I really don't understand, what's going on. But also, look, I'm not ready to freak out. What we did have, okay, just in general, was a lot of insiders coming out, I think at a bad timing, to talk about, okay, all of a sudden now it's a Metroidvania type game. See, this thing's been rumored for a while, okay? There was maybe some confusion because it's prequel type era, right? So you had people saying, all right, well, maybe it's a remaster of 1. Maybe it's Kratos going back to Greece, all this stuff, okay? Now, all of a sudden, all right, well, it's not that. It's a spin-off game, okay? So that's cool. And then, we get closer and closer to the last few days. Now, all of a sudden, it's like a 2.5D, like Metroidvania type thing, which, I was going to make a video. I wanted to hold off, and I did, because I thought, oh, well, this is easy. This is going to be announced at the State of Play. This is simple. We're going to get it, and I'll make a video after. State of Play comes, we get next to nothing participation trophy from PlayStation themselves, first party. Then we go to Summer Game Fest, and I say, all right, you got Death Stranding, and then you're going to do God of War. You only show Death Stranding. So, where we're at now, and I do think, I wonder, but I also kind of think, I think it was just bad timing that if this is a game that's smaller, which is like everybody is saying about this game, right? It's like it's smaller than you expect. Don't expect like God of War Ragnarok, even that style, okay? It's probably not going to be that big of a game. But, from my perspective, and again, this is something I want to talk about because I thought it was going to get announced, I'm okay with it. Like, I'm okay with the massive type of change. I'm actually maybe more for it than you might think I am. To me, this shows just a little bit. Like, I would really want that remastered. We talked about that a lot leading into like the springtime. I think that would show a dedication to like old PlayStation games, and I think that's very important for PlayStation to show. This, I think I can still kind of like make an excuse of why I think this is good. But I mean, honestly, I think this shows like, okay, we're willing to try like some new things with established properties. At the very least, it's not even Santa Monica is the rumor, right? It's not even them. They're kind of outsourcing it, but Santa Monica's watching over it. It's smaller. It's a 2.5D Metroidvania. Again, like the biggest takeaway from me is, all right, you're willing to take an established franchise and do something that I don't think many people would expect you to do, to do something like that. That's not everybody's cup of tea. I think many people, if it is real, and if we see it, which I want to talk about that in a second, like where we could see it, I think if people look at it, a lot of people might be turned off by it. Now, I love those type of games, and I'm for it. I'm for the kind of creativity of it, but I think you're going to alienate some people from that game. But you know what? Again, it shows a willingness to try. It shows a willingness to just do something a little bit different. So I'm for the idea, in case you were curious. In terms of like what I think, was going on, I think maybe there was just like internal like circle talk of like what the game really was, because if you think about, again, like this game is transformed before our eyes like 3 times. You know what I mean? Like it became a remaster collection, then it became a prequel spin-off, which okay, and then it became, all right, well, now it's a Metroidvania. So it really transformed those 3 times. It came from nothing, then it did those 3. And so what I'm thinking, okay, is a September State of Play. I know I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, right, even just assuming that it's going to happen. But to be honest, okay, to be real, PlayStation, contractually even, late May, early June, and then September. They do it. Not saying it's going to be good. Not saying it's going to be bad. Not even saying you have to worry about it right now because it's a couple months out. But I think it's going to happen. I think we'll get one in September. And then I just think because of the style of this game and then the fact that, if it comes out November, December, I think it does still work, like, to be announced there. I think you absolutely could have done it at this recent State of Play. There's not really a good, like, reasoning to hold off on it versus not. Truthfully, I don't really think it matters, like, to show it, like, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, whatever it was, versus September. You know what I mean? That's just kind of where I'm at. Because really, I think what you've done now is the people that saw that stuff, you built it up for the State of Play, then you built it up for Summer Game Fest, and now you got nothing. So it's like you're probably not going to announce it at any of these points. September, like I still think it can be like a thing because September you're probably gonna push Ghost of Yote again. You'll do the state of play in July for Ghost, and then you'll maybe do one more thing in September, and then maybe Marathon. Maybe you announce one or two, But the thing is, like Astrobot, right? Astrobot came out early fall last year, and it was announced in June. I think that's kind of the strategy, is like announcing it 2-3 months before, especially for like smaller scale things. You know what I mean? And this would probably be smaller than Astro, and Astro had that same kind of length, late May or maybe even early June, whatever it was, until September, I think, is when it came out. If you do this September, mid-September, comes out mid-November, late November, 2 months, roughly the same. So that's kind of what I think the plan is, at least right now. I'm willing to believe it. I mean, these are not nobodies. Just a few days before, it was Jeff Grubb and Tom Henderson. These are pretty okay people, and we've heard it even from people beyond them. So I think it's happening. I guess maybe like get ready just in case for like one more curveball, because again, it's transformed so many times. Maybe it's got one more transformation, like evolution, like Pokemon. Like it's got one more thing, in its back pocket. I don't think so. I think once you say it's a Metroidvania, you can't really go anywhere from there, right? You're kind of stuck there. So which is okay. But we'll see what happens. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure, as always, you're subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.